become the subject of many big discussions. Tonight we're going to get into the numbers. So how do these numbers compare to the past 7 or 8 years? How bad was the performance in core math and social studies? And what can we do to get better exam outcomes all around? That's the topic for tonight. I'll tell you who my guests are when I come back. Stay with us.
When malaria strikes your home, it strikes everything. No more endless worry because of malaria. Fight malaria back with Vegetem. Vegetem is effective, safe, and fast-acting against malaria. Vegetem tablets stays effective right to the very last tablets. Vegetem is also available in suspension for children. Vegetem, tough on malaria, easy on you.
Attention all State Housing Company Limited homeowners, landowners and clients. From November 3rd to December 31st, 2025, the State Housing Company Limited is giving you a 15% discount on all outstanding payments.
Oh yes, pay less on your ground rent, land regularization, lease renewals, consents to develop or assign and service charges, and secure your ownership today.
Visit any SHC office nationwide to make your payment in full to benefit from the 15% discount.
You can locate the State Housing Company Limited at Ring Road West, adjacent STC Yard and Accra Digital Center.
For more information, visit our website www.statehousing.gov.ga or call 0302-221-422 or 0552-725-656 or 0503-083-393. Remember, this offer ends December 31st, 2025. Don't wait. Pay less today.
Rooted in heritage, shaped by ambition, defined by style, inspired by soul. This is Afro Quality, the first multi-country concept store for African brands, now in Nairobi, Kigali, and Accra.
You're probably wondering how Ebo got here. Oh, Ebo. You see, Ebo is not a bad guy. He's got plans. Big plans. But there's just one small problem. His wallet didn't get the memo. So he decides to take a shortcut. That was a bad idea. And that's how he found himself sitting across area champion, the great Abu Kayoyo. Let's just say, not every quick fix fixes everything. But with a Stanbic loan, he gets the upgrade he needs and the freedom to actually breathe. With a Stanbic loan, the only thing chasing you are your dreams.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late?
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. Kofi be the luckiest. Kofi from Georgia be luckiest. From not the block, she be luckiest. And yeah, you Kofi be luckiest. No matter what you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God the apple boom. If you're poor, what's that? So would the coming of the Son of Man be. Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Welcome back. So before we even get into the discussion of the results, the trends, the implications, and what it means, the Ghana Education Service has sent out a statement. They sent it earlier today for immediate release, setting the record straight, facts surrounding the 2025 WASSCE results. This is a almost 11-paragraph statement. I'm going to go through it one by one. The management of GES has taken note of public discussions following the release of the 2025 WASSCE results. Management provides clarity to aid a balanced national conversation. So that's what we're doing, right? 2, management takes note of attempts by Dr. Osei Educhum, immediate past Minister for Education, to attribute the performance of students in the 2025 WASSCE to unsupportive management practices of GES. It is not true that GES has cancelled any allowance due teachers as claimed by Dr. Educhum in his engagement with some media houses. Indeed, the Comptroller and Accountant General's Department has publicly clarified reasons for the non-payment of the November allowances for teachers. 4, GES urges the public to disregard the statements made by the former Minister Dr. Educhum regarding the 2025 WASSCE results and treat them as an attempt to shift focus from his shortcomings in managing the examination process. 5, management of GES views the 2025 WASSCE results as a true reflection of academic performance of the candidates. The outcome is a credible representation of students' abilities. 6, prior to the examinations, the Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service issued a firm directive that any teacher or official found aiding or abetting malpractice during the examination would face strong sanctions. This was rigorously enforced. 7, the 2025 WASSCE was conducted under heightened invigilation, strengthened supervision, and strict adherence to examination protocols across all centers. These measures significantly resulted in apprehension of some students and staff who would have engaged in examination malpractices. It's essential to appreciate that the outcome is a direct demonstration of the trend towards restoring integrity of the examination process. A credible examination system serves the best interest of our students, our schools, and the nation. 9, as Ghana moves away from the Ghana-only WASSCE introduced under the previous administration to take the international WASSCE, written by all West African member countries in May-June 2026, management of GES admonishing students to prepare very well for the examination. Management of GES will not compromise the integrity of examinations. 11, GES will continue to work closely with stakeholders, all stakeholders, heads of schools, teachers, students, parents, communities, civil society organizations, and WAEC to improve teaching and learning and the integrity of examinations. Signed, Daniel Fenyi, Head of Public Relations, Ghana Education Service. When we come back, we'll be joined by our guests to delve into the 2025 WASSCE results. This is The Point of View. Stay with us.
Brand you can trust. Polytank, we get some more Rambo and get some more super. And the Polytank we did.
Polytank, Papa no Asa.
Almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Trot from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Obey you later.
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. Yeah, you go be the luckiest. Coffee from Georgia be luckiest. From not the cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter what you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame.
Send your God the apple boom. If you put it at all, so would the coming of the son of man be. Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompts and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Welcome back. So tonight we're doing a deep dive into the 2025 SSC results. Two of the results have really led to talking points. Core mathematics, there was a dip in performance from 66.86%. That was the number or the percentage of students who passed in 2024. When we say pass, we're talking A1 to C6. Typically, those are the results that will get you into a university. That 66.86 figure dipped by 18% to 48.73, and a lot of people are worried about this. The other one that dipped badly was social studies, from 71.53 to 55.82. For English language, the figure was relatively the same, 69.52. It maintained the same 69.00, statistically insignificant. So basically, the performance for this year for English language was similar to last year. For general science or integrated science, the performance was relatively stable as well, 58.77 to 57.74. Again, you can say that's quite stable. So two big talking points, the dip in core maths and the dip in social studies. Now, a few issues to raise. Are we just comparing this year to last year, or should we compare this year to a trend? Is it better to do trend analysis or just year-on-year analysis? That's some of the questions my panel will answer. In studio, Kofi Asare, Africa Education Watch, arguably the leading education think tank in Ghana for the past 8 or 9 years. Kofi, thanks for joining us.
Welcome.
It's
glad to be here.
It's good to have you, Kofi. Really, really good job you've been doing out there. John Kapi is the Director of Public Affairs for the West Africa Examinations Council. He's on the show as well. Mr. Kapi, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure to be with you.
Wonderful. I'd like to also read the statement the GS put out, but I'll read that later. What I wanted to do first was to just walk through the numbers a bit more intensely. So we have results percentages from 2017 all through to 2025. So for example, for English language in 2017, the percentage who got A1 to C6 was 54.06%. That dipped to 46.79 in 2018. So in 2018, English language, less than 50% had A1 to C6. That figure stabilized around 48.96 in 2019, jumped up to 57.34 in 2020, and went all the way to 54.08 in 2021. The highest in the series was in 2023, 73.11, and then it's now 69. Indeed, 2023 was the best year in the past decade. If you look at math as well, the figure was 62.23 for 2023, science 66.82, social studies 76.76. If you look at the math as a time series, the lowest was in 2018. In 2017, it was 42.73, dipped to 38.33 in 2018, jumped massively in 2019 to 65.31, 65.71 2020 stable, came down to 54 in 2021, 61 in 2022, 62 in 2023, and then came to 66.86 in 2024, only to dip to 48.73. So that 48 is the lowest in the series apart from 2017-2018. Science as well, not too many talking points in science. Social studies, another big talking point, 52 in 2017, 73 2018, 75 2019, 64 2020, 2021 66, 22 71, 23 76, 24 71, and is dipped by 15%, 55.82. Maybe I'll start with WAEC, because they are the ones who put the results together. Mr. Kapi, thanks so much for joining the program. What does WAEC have a system of judging results? Do you say this year the results are a reflection, a good or bad? Do you have any emotion at all? For you, you've done the exam, you've brought the results out, you don't have anything to say. How does WAEC assess results?
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. Basically, what we do with our results is that we do a 3-year comparative analysis of the performance, especially regarding the difficulty level. We also look at the general performance for each year, each of those 3 years that we are doing the comparison in, and then we see whether the candidates are making progress. As an examining body or as assessment officers, we want to see whether indeed the questions that we put out there are questions that are within the range of the candidates that we are examining. So basically that is what we do. And when we are done, we ask the chief examiners to give us a report, their observation of the strengths and weaknesses of the candidates who have taken the examination.
Wonderful. So the examiner's report is not out yet. So this is just preliminary results we have, correct?
So we have, these normally would call this one provisional results, but then I have been able to lay hands on the general resume of the chief examiner's report, mathematics and then social studies.
And can you share any highlights with us, what the chief examiner's report is saying?
Okay, so for core mathematics, the chief examiner says that the standard of the paper compared favorably with that of the previous year. Some of the candidates' weaknesses: 1, representing mathematical information in a diagram. 2, solving global mathematics-related problems. 3, constructing cumulative frequency table given data distribution. 4, making deductions from real-life problems. 5, solving application problems in simple interest. 6, translating word problems into mathematical expressions. And 7, interpreting of results from cumulative frequency curve. So these are the 7 areas where the chief examiner found weaknesses in the performance of the candidates in 2025.
Would you be so kind to repeat the list? I was writing, but it was quite fast. Would you be so kind to go to the 7 weakness areas?
Okay. So 1, it says representing mathematical information in a diagram.
Okay.
Then 2, says solving global mathematics-related problems.
Okay.
3, says constructing cumulative frequency table from given data distribution.
Mm-hmm.
And then 4, making deductions from real-life problems.
Okay.
5, solving application problems in simple interest.
Mm-hmm.
6, translating word problems into mathematical expressions.
Mm-hmm.
And then 7, interpreting results from cumulative frequency curve.
That's very serious, because if you can't do these things, then you don't understand maths. I mean, particularly the real life problem. We'll come back to those. What did the chief examiner say about social studies?
So with social studies, there were just 3 major areas. 1, he says that they were not able to write on policies implemented by government and better the lives of the people.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one, he says they were unable to point out how expensive funerals adversely affect the development of the Ghanaian society. We talked about the fact that they could not sufficiently discuss the forms of cooperation Ghana has with the United Nations organization.
So those are the 3 problem areas.
Those are the keys. So this is just a resume. So
Yes.
when we get the detailed report,
Wow.
we probably would delve deeper into some of the areas.
Wonderful. So for you as an examining body, first you look at the examiner's report to see the performance of the students. But are you interested in students doing well, or for you the most important thing is that the results are a reflection of what the people did? What is success for WAEC when exam results are released?
Well, for us, it's about, first of all, being able to conduct the examination without any problems from our end. That is the sanctity of the examination process. And we also want to ensure that every examiner would have dealt with every candidate as independently as they are supposed to, so that we have all the data we need to be able to process the results, then come out with what every candidate deserves by way of the grades that are awarded. Obviously, if there's a poor performance, you certainly are going to have people who would point fingers at the council about us probably not being fair to children at this age in terms of the kind of questions that we set. But then if the candidates do well, and indeed their performance is a reflection of independent work, then of course we would all be excited, because staff of the council also have their children who write the examination.
All right. There is a statement from GES that I'll let you comment on later. But let me take Kofi Asari's initial thoughts. But I thank you so far for the insights you've given us. 7 key weaknesses for the core math, 3 for the social studies. Kofi, opening remarks. By the way, the discussions around this whole thing, how have you found it?
Well, it's unfortunate that, as usual, it has been politicized. Similar issues were raised in 2019, 2020, and I remember Edward issuing statements advising the politicians not to bring their politics into WASSCE results. Unfortunately, it's convenient for some to do politics and make capital out of it, as if there's any capital at all to be made. And whenever that happens, it clouds, the real issues that citizens should appreciate. But it is important that the Ghana Education Service and stakeholders that have key roles in ensuring that the lessons supposed to be learned are learned, and interventions supposed to be deployed to improve the status quo are done without being distracted into the politics of the situation. Yeah.
So that's the first thing. So I don't want to draw into the politics. So let's start with what Mr. Cap. What stood out for you? Because I guess for us in the media, the big thing was the dip in mathematics and social studies. 18% dip compared to the previous year for math, 15% for. How important are those dips and how serious is it for you?
Well, the dips are important. If you look at the trend we did, you'll see that it's such a deep dip, right? And so it is concerning. And whenever that happens, and when it happens, not in all the subjects, but in particular subjects, 1 or 2, you are interested in ascertaining, doing a surgical knife inquiry into the drivers of the dip. And that is why I mentioned that it's important that we get a full chief examiner's report. Then we are able to diagnose where the deficiencies were to inform the deployment of remedial interventions. If it is across board poor performance, then you want to look at systemic issues. But these are subject-based, dips, as you can see. And so the first point of call, or the launch pad, should be a deep dive into the chief examiner's report, identify the areas, the subject areas where students struggle to be, at the level of appreciation that the examiners were expecting. Then, based on that, teachers are able to focus more on those areas, strengthen teaching and learning in those areas, and also prepare students adequately for the next examination.
Let me come back to Mr. Kapi. GES has issued a statement. I don't want to bore you with the full statement because some of it was reacting to statements made by the former Minister for Education. But there are some paragraphs that I feel are important for WAEC. So, for example, paragraph 5. Management of GES views the 2025 WASSCE results as a true reflection of the academic performance of the candidates. The outcome is a credible representation of students' abilities. That's a big one. Number 7. The 2025 WASSCE was conducted under heightened invigilation, strengthened supervision, and strict adherence to examination protocols across all centers. These measures significantly resulted in apprehension of some students and staff who would have engaged in examination malpractice. Look at verse 8, paragraph 8. It is essential to appreciate that the outcome is a direct demonstration of the trend towards, this is my emphasis, restoring integrity of the examination process. Let me repeat. Paragraph 8. It is essential to appreciate that the outcome is a direct demonstration of the trend towards restoring integrity of the examination process. A credible examination system serves the best interest of our students, our school, and the nation. I want you to comment on these paragraphs. Mr. Kapi, please. Okay, go ahead. Your mic was off.
Okay, sorry. So these are exactly the issues that we have talked about from the beginning of this year. We've held stakeholder engagements across the country, basically to draw the attention of the general populace to this menace of examination malpractice and its attendant the repercussions if we do not put a stop to it. Now, so certainly, if you look at the results, it is what the candidates deserve, because we've done all our checks from beginning to end. We notice that, yes, that is what they are supposed to do. Again, the level of supervision this time around, we appealed to the general populace, we appealed also to our district directors of education, the regional directors of education to help us. So you realize that in the course of the examination, even high-profile people like the Director General of Education himself was monitoring. We had our own staff who went out to monitor. We had our locally trained personnel who were monitoring. There were other, education think tanks who were monitoring the examination. And so gradually we are restoring integrity to the examination process as the statement indicated. And I'd like just to say that we would also want to put on record that there were members of the public who didn't like the idea of examination malpractice. And so we had a number of them who put through calls to us indicating what was happening. Indeed, when we deployed our personnel to those areas, we discovered that people were doing things that were not allowed. So all of these actually contributed to us being able to, as it were, curb or reduce, if you want, the issues of malpractice to the level that we have, and to allow the children to actually give an account, a true account of themselves as far as the examination is concerned.
If you read this statement carefully, the implication is that maybe 2024, 2023, 2022, the results were not the accurate reflection of the performance. Because, for example, paragraph 4 actually attempts to even indict the former minister for his quote-unquote shortcomings in managing the examination process. Couple that with Professor Stephen Adey, who earlier on a different media house said something to the effect that stricter invigilation prevented cheating that could have inflated scores. And he runs a secondary school, albeit a private one. So are we saying that maybe 2025 is more reflective of the performance than maybe the previous 2 years? Because maybe in those years people were cheating?
Well, if you look at the results that we have brought or that have come out this year, well, from the look of things, especially for, let me talk about the previous years, 2024, 2023, and even beyond. We tried our best. We apprehended a number of people who were engaged in examination malpractices. We tried our best to draw the attention of the public to some of the things that we have seen and especially that there was a possibility of other areas where we may not have been able to touch. I would also want to add that there were a number of education think tanks who, also published whatever their observations were across the country as far as the examination process was concerned. And so on our part, whenever we suspect anything, we would certainly hold on to the results and do further investigations before we release the results. If we have to cancel, we cancel. If we have to release them, we also do. So really, on our part, what we observed is what we brought out by way of the cancellation of the results. Then if we were not able to apprehend them and they slipped through, well, unfortunately, we wouldn't have any excuses to give or any explanation to give to them.
So would you say that for 2025, based on your monitoring, malpractice reduced?
I wouldn't say malpractice reduced. Well, in terms of looking at the general performance of the candidates, we would say that, well, maybe in some areas, even though we don't have, facts proof, then if indeed the candidates were supposed to be independent work, is what has resulted in what we are seeing. That's fine for us, is good. But then if you look at the number of results we've had to cancel, the ones that we've had to withhold, it tells you that our presence in the field even made us apprehend a lot more people who would have, slipped through with their, negative activities as far as the examination process was concerned. So yes, we may have been able to prevent others from doing it. At the same time, some people were recalcitrant, also apprehended, and that resulted in the increase in number of results that we've had to cancel this year.
Stay with us. Let me come to Kofi on this. Mr. Kapi is being very careful. But I am putting two and two together. The GES statement is very clear. They are saying that they believe there was stricter enforcement of protocols this year. Professor Adair is also saying that if the system hadn't been this strict, we would have had quote-unquote inflated results. Clearly, there's a perception in some circles that maybe this 38% is actually the level of all the students. And last year, the figure they got was not reflective.
Well, it's difficult to gauge the extent to which strengthened invigilation and supervision would impact on the results. It's difficult in the sense that both endogenous and exogenous factors come into play in determining the result. There is the component of students not preparing adequately for a paper. For me, that is right. That is right, especially when they are passing some other subjects well. So that gives indication that it is likely. For now, everything is that we are looking at the likelihood until we do a proper scientific inquiry after we've gotten the full report of the chief examiner and then done further researches, But that is one. And then obviously you can never discount the fact that given the level of invigilation and supervision we saw, those who would have gotten certain grades they didn't deserve wouldn't get it. I'm being honest with you. We, in our monitoring, this year we monitored WASSCE from 150 schools. Using the monitors we've worked with for about 7 years. Some of them are invigilators. All of them are teachers, both private, public. One of the major findings from our report, which was launched on 30th October, was that 61% of these respondents, believed that invigilation was either good, very good, or excellent. Excellent was 9%. And then the rest was between 26 and 24 or so. So 61% in all believed that invigilation was good, very good, or excellent. And I thought that was great. Now, aside what the monitors or our monitors said in the survey, which is published on our website for about a month ago, you also realize that for the first time, two things happened, which obviously should impact on the quality of invigilation, supervision, and to that extent, credibility. How it will impact on results, I cannot tell. But then, if Kofi Asare was cheating, perhaps it would not give Kofi Asare the opportunity to cheat and get a grade and get undeserving grades. The Minister for Education, for the first time, announced that teachers caught in malpractice will be dismissed. In the GES Code of Conduct, The first line response for that action is not dismissal. Suspension. In fact, in 2019 or so, in St. Jerome Senior High School, a teacher was caught on video dictating answers to a particular paper. We have the video. When we followed up through the disciplinary processes, we realized that after 3 years, the teacher was now an assistant headmaster. Then he was a management living teacher. Listen very well. When we petitioned the GES, we were told that he was sanctioned. They referred us to the code of conduct. So he was suspended. 1 month, and then you are back. And so, but that is their code of conduct. Okay. So the minister escalated the sanction to the last one, which is dismissal. Dismissal is also
new minister.
Yes. And we have been pushing for this for a long time. So when that escalation was made, and then the DG of GES made headmasters sign an undertaking that you are responsible for any malpractice that happens in your school. Obviously, with these two things, one would reasonably expect that the quality of supervision in the examination will be high. And I also expect that teachers, those few bad ones who ordinarily would risk, and collude, will not think twice because they are likely to be dismissed and lose their licenses. So obviously, you can never discuss the results, not only the maths results, the integrated science results, and all the other results. You can never discuss this WASSCE result while discounting the implication of these, punitive measures on teachers, invigilators, and their response.
Wow. We'll take a break. This is the point of view. Tonight, we're reviewing the 2025 WASSCE results. Two big topics. The results in social studies had a 15% dip. The big one, the results in core maths, 18% dip. Less than 40% of the students had A1 to C6. We are talking to John Kapi. In the studio, we have Kofi Asari. Stay with us.
When malaria strikes your home, it strikes everything. No more endless worry because of malaria. Fight malaria back with Vegetem. Vegetem is effective, safe, and fast-acting against malaria. Vegetem tablets stays effective right to the very last tablets. Vegetem is also available in suspension for children. Vegetem, tough on malaria, easy on you.
Papa no no, papa no no, papa no no, papa no no, no, papa no no, Ankasa. Polytank is everywhere, durable and authentic. Stronger brand you can trust. Polytank, we get some more Rambo and get some more Super. And the Polytank we did.
Polytank, papa no Ankasa.
Uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late?
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. Yeah, you go be the luckiest. Kofi from Georgia be luckiest. From not the pure cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God the apple boom. If you're poor, what's that to you? So would the coming of the son of man be.
Hey!
Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompts and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
In December 2023, the biggest play in the history of African theatre made its debut.
For Ogun, the god of iron, I stand on oath.
You saw it.
We sent you all the way to Ileife to bring us greetings from Ifa.
By popular demand and in honor of Maoli Semevo, Image Bureau, in partnership with April Communications and the National Theatre, presents The Gods Are Not to Blame this December 17th, 7 p.m., 18th, 7 p.m., and 19th, 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. at the National Theatre. Visit www.imagebureaugh.com or dial *714*46# for your tickets. Single 250 cedis, double 400 cedis. Supported by New Plant Car Rentals, Ghana Tourism Authority, Balakwa. Sponsors Stambic Bank, our media partners, and proudly brought to you by MTN.
Welcome back. The point of view tonight is taking a deep dive into the 2025 WASSCE results. We have Kofi Asare, Africa Education Watch, helping us appreciate the matters. John Kapi is the Director of Communications for GES. He's already told us 7 highlights from the examiner's preliminary report in the area of core maths. I mean, quite serious. Some of the students could not interpret a word problem. And essentially, they had issues with graphs, converting equations into graphs. Many had challenges with those as well. He also did give some 3 highlights from social studies, including the inability of students to list government policies that were making people's lives better. I thought that was quite serious. And also being unable to explain why expensive funerals were a problem for Ghanaian society. I mean, serious matters. So what are our students learning? Mr. Kapi, before you leave us, I'd like you to comment on something we heard earlier, that Ghana is moving away from the Ghana-only WASSCE, and we are going to be taking the international WASSCE, written by all West African member countries, from next year. What are the implications of that, and how does that change the type of preparation required by students?
First of all, let me just set a certain misconception right. The fact that we were writing later than the other member countries did not actually lower the thing to a local examination. We still followed all the international protocols for the examination. For example, we have, let me use the expression cross-border setting of questions where probably for mathematics, the subject officer or the compiling officer is in Ghana, so he would set the question for Nigeria. So whether we are writing the exam or not, our officer should still be able to compile. Then when it comes to the setting of the standards in terms of marking schemes, the way it is done together with the other member countries. When it comes to the grading, the same thing is done. So it maintained that international coloring, because when it came to the international awards, the excellence awards, there were Ghanaian students who competed and won awards. So I would say that to that extent, we were still doing the international thing, just that we wrote a little later than the other countries. Now, this has been the clarion call. I mean, from the member countries, they wanted us to come on board because it was giving them a double job to do in a year regarding the examinations that we had to write separately. So having come to this level where together with the Registrar Council and then the Ghana Education Service and the government of Ghana, that we're going to have to write examinations around the same time, it is going to be a blessing to us all, because then we do it once and everybody would have some time on their hands. When we do it separately, it's a lot of work for us as well as for the other member countries.
What does that mean for subjects like social studies, which appear to be country specific. I mean, from your own report you read, the questions on social studies they didn't do well in were Ghana specific. So would that mean that for the WASSCE, just explain what that means for us.
Okay, so there are certain subjects that are country specific. For example, some people are still doing engineering science, which Ghana doesn't do. They still offer health science that Ghana doesn't offer. We offer social studies that is not offered in other areas. So when we are doing the awards, first of all, we have experts from across who are looking at this one. And so that is why you realize that when we put out statistics, we put out statistics for these 4 major areas. Those are the areas that are looked at. And for us in Ghana here, what will happen is that we'll have to intensify our teaching regarding these subjects in which the candidates didn't do well. And then we look at ways by which we can improve upon their performance going forward. But then the issue about it being an international examination, of course, will remain as it is.
Kofi, any thoughts on that? The reverting to West Africa, is it a positive news?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Finally, post-COVID, we are managing to fully restore our academic calendar. And for that matter, our participation in West Africa's WASSCE. It makes it much more easier when you are doing, transnational comparisons. And also, it also helps in a way, to reduce examination malpractice. Because we realize that in those years when there were leakages, many times people will come with sometimes what they call APO, which is not correct APO. But it's actually questions that have been written in Nigeria or Liberia because they were writing different papers. Then they will come and, deceive people with this APO quote in quote, and then divert people's attention and focus to these fake questions, and then they end up, not preparing well. And so if you're all writing same paper and writing them at the same time, I think it reduces, such negative occurrences and all that. So we can't wait to see Ghana write WASSCE with West Africa come next year.
The Center for Policy and Management, CEPIM, a think tank under the Orpington Group, has raised alarm over what it describes as major collapse in the WASSCE results, or major collapse in the management of secondary education following the drastic decline in the Ghana 2025 WASSCE results. Now, they say this crisis is not a failure of access, but a fundamental failure of execution and management. The data confirms that systemic administrative lapses over the past year have severely undermined the quality of teaching and learning under the Free SHS framework. The think tank attributed the decline to what it called chronic mismanagement, pointing to the withdrawal of academic intervention grants, the absence of specialized continuous professional development for teachers, and delays in funding that disrupted feeding, logistics, and provision of essential teaching and learning materials. They also highlighted rising examination malpractice as further evidence of a system under strain, with thousands of subject results cancelled and dozens of individuals facing prosecution for compromising exam integrity. Let me go to Kapi first. Do you agree with this, especially the part that talks about rising examination malpractice as further evidence of a system under strain? And they're saying because of the results cancelled and many people facing prosecution for compromising exam integrity, plus other issues they raise. What's your reaction?
You see, we live in a society where it's unfortunate to say, but we are becoming quite permissive when it comes to certain things, where you find out that some people are really not apologetic when it comes to wrongdoing. The issue of examination malpractice. I was reading, I think I saw something about middle school living certificate having been cancelled in 1978 or thereabouts. I don't have it in front of me right now. But so the issue of cheating in examination is not something that is with us. That does not make it a good practice. No, that is what I'm saying. But then maybe the extent to which we are going right now is what is alarming. And we have always raised, a lot of issues about examination malpractice, where we think that people, especially examination candidates, should be allowed to do independent work. When we did our stakeholder engagements across the country, one of the things that came out, especially from administrators of schools, is the fact that they had to go into certain performance agreement with some authorities, and so because of that, they let down their guard in order that they didn't find themselves in the bad books of those who were authority. We submitted all of these reports to the Ghana Education Service, just so that we are able to tell the people who are in charge that these are the challenges they have. And so if it is possible, let us see how we can do away with the practice in order that we'll have a smooth running examination. And when it comes to school administration, unfortunately, WAEC has no locus when it comes to that, because we don't have the mandate, if you want, to go out there and observe how schools are run. Ours is simply to look at examinations to ensure that the people that we are working with are applying the rules as expected.
Thank you. Kofi, what are your thoughts on this very serious analysis that a decline in, it calls it a fundamental failure of execution and management, systemic administrative lapses over the past year, undermine the quality of teaching and learning, chronic mismanagement? I mean, quite serious, scathing analysis of the situation.
Yeah, there are portions of it that I agree partially with. I spoke to a couple of teachers who were of the opinion that the interventions as existing prior are not as effectively run, and that they are not getting their motivation for the intervention. I'm talking about some extra classes type that takes place in the schools, especially during the final year. I don't know whether it's for all the schools, but then I have raised that issue with one of the directors of genius today to check whether is it a case that funding is going to the headmasters and that the money is not going to the teachers, or are they coordinating interventions? But that was one. To say that secondary education collapse is quite serious. If the system had collapsed, we won't be getting this result we are seeing in integrated science and then in English. Okay? So I think that's that's not supported with the evidence. On the rising examination malpractice, yes, I agree that there is examination malpractice, but to say rising examination malpractice is also not supported with evidence. Examination malpractice has been rising since 2018. In 2018, it was about 0.2, rose to 2.5 by 2020, and then 6.9 by 2022. By 2023, we were at 10%, at the highest in our history.
The highest percentage examination malpractice was 2023, which was the same year we had the best results.
Yes, so it has been going up since 2018.
No, but I want you to see the connection.
I don't want to.
The best year of your results in the past 10 years is 2023.
And that was the highest, 10%, according to data from WAEC. So wow. I agree with him that examination malpractice is an issue, but I disagree that it just emerged. And that I want to agree that much more prioritized, decisive action is being taken against examination malpractice now. We didn't hear of questions leaking during this year's WASSCE, but it was a common feature between 2019 and 2022. And so that is where I disagree. In terms of delayed release of funds to run senior high schools, I also disagree. Because we've seen a tremendous improvement in the release of funds to free senior high school. That's why you're not hearing about children starving in schools and all that things that we used to hear about. It's because free senior high school is now being financed from Get Fund, which is by far the most reliable ring-fence funds in Ghana today, even outside the education sector. And so the delays that occasions the payment of suppliers for their foodstuff supplied, or delay supply of foodstuff because of lack of funding, it's no longer. Previously, free senior high school was financed from GOG and ABFA. Okay, now it's all 100% free senior high, Get Fund, which is the most reliable funding source. So I disagree that release of funds to run schools has gotten worse, or exacerbating. I don't believe
All right.
that's
to end. What is the most important thing we need to do? We have received 7 recommendations preliminary from the WAEC for math.
Yeah.
And let me repeat them for the sake of emphasis. Representing mathematical information in diagrams, they struggle with that. Solving global math-related problems, struggle with that. Constructing cumulative frequency tables, struggling with that. Making deductions from real-life problems, struggling with that. Solving simple interest applications, struggle with that. Translating word problems into mathematical expressions, struggled with that. Interpreting results from cumulative frequencies, I think this is a repetition. Yeah, for math, that is very serious. This is almost basic.
Yeah, so I think that we must wait for the full examiner's report, the chief examiner's report. We'll have the details, question by question analysis of where the gaps were. Then we can have a better appreciation of the direction of policy. I believe that what the GS should be doing, it will be to review the chief examiner's report and then strengthen the conduct of their interventions. The interventions are necessary because we are still in double track. We don't have the number of days we would have wished to spend in school. And so it's always possible, it's always important for you to make sure that while we are operating within this constricted timetable, contact hours are enhanced, expanded, okay? So the motivation required to get that done must be provided by the GES to teachers. And then directed towards the areas that are seen here to be the areas where there are deficits, not only in maths and social studies, but in all the subject areas, okay, so that the teachers are able to identify the areas, the loose points, and then strengthen their teaching and, for that matter, learning in those areas. For me, that's very, very important. I also want to encourage the GES and WAEC to continue to work together to enhance the quality of supervision. I'm happy that WAEC admits that we are gradually improving the credibility of WASSCE. Yes, we shouldn't be distracted by the policies of it. It's important that we continue to strengthen invigilation, clamp down on bad invigilators who collude. I'm happy that 19 teachers have so far been prosecuted and another 15 or so non-teachers being prosecuted. We want to encourage more of that. If there's evidence of collusion, cancel the results. Let's sanitize the system without fear or favor so that we can be proud of our outputs after we've joined West Africa, in June next year for the West African WASSCE.
Let me give the last word to Mr. Kapi. Thanks for staying. What are your final thoughts on this year's results? What's your message to parents who are so disappointed, some of whom may be disappointed that their awards didn't do as well as they were expecting?
Yeah, I think that we would continue with our appeal to well-meaning Ghanaians to frown upon this issue of examination malpractice. Certainly, if the fault is coming from us, we would accept it and probably make amends or apologize and make amends. But then our partners, the Ghana Education Service, and this I'm talking about our teachers who are teaching the children. I guess that we'll be proud if we see our products in very good positions in society and, performing very well, not people that we see in places where there are a lot of complaints about their performance because they cheated their way through. If everybody will come on board, people in society, our whistleblowers who helped us a lot during the course of the year, our opinion leaders, chiefs, and what have you, and not to turn people away from their community because they are being strict in observing examination rules and so on and so forth. At the end of the day, I believe that Ghana will be the better for it.
Thank you, Mr. Kapi. Last word to Kofi.
Yeah, we are currently going through the consideration stage for the 2026 budget. WAEC's budget is before Parliament tomorrow, and I'm going to be there personally, lobbying for certain budgets, including WAEC's budget. I'm appealing to the Select Committee on Education in Parliament to enhance, to cooperate and support WAEC to get a budget that will enable WAEC to deploy external monitors to almost every center. I want to see WAEC's presence deepen even more so that the credibility of the process will be much more enhanced. In addition to that, parents should do a favor to their candidates or their awards. Tell them that in the 2026 WASSCE, they are not going to have any support from anyone. And so they should begin to learn to be independent in their learning and preparation for the examination. Believe in themselves. And once they are able to participate in the teaching and learning that GES will support the teachers to deliver, they should believe in themselves that what they know should be able to take them through. So they shouldn't plan for the examination with any help in mind.
Thank you, Kofi Asare of the Africa Education Watch, and also John Kapi, who is from WAEC. Thanks for watching tonight's edition of The Point of View. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.